What is going on, guys? Eric here. So, let's go ahead and look at the SOFI trade today. Because, I mean, this thing just kind of hit, you know, everything it needed to hit. So, hopefully, you guys, profited today. I seen a lot of you guys in the chat room did, bank on it good. I want to kind of backtrack a little bit here and kind of talk about, you know, how this play came about, what I was looking at, and just kind of put it all into fruition for you guys. Okay. So, if you don't know, probably for the last, obviously this whole month, first of all, the market itself has just been, you know, in the correction stage. Everything's falling, 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 pulling back, pulling back. Today was one of the few green days that we had, but it wasn't green. It's not green by much, okay? But still, green nonetheless. So that's something to keep in mind. So the market's, pretty choppy at the moment. Probably on its way to coming back here in a couple of weeks. We'll see what's happening. But anyways, today is a prime example of, you know, utilizing the watch list properly, um, what to do, being patient in the market, and just basically finding opportunities. Because I know we've been bullish and the stock's been running up, running up, running up, and a lot of you guys have been, hooked on making these insane profits pretty easily. This right now, I'm going to tell you guys, is the real test of the real traders. Okay. Times like this, honestly, me being a bullish trader, I look forward to the dips. It sucks because the plays aren't there yet, but I love it because you know that they're coming. Okay. So this is kind of part of understanding market cycles, and I talked to you guys a lot about that in the course. Market cycles. This is the time where momentum trading is either going to be in the opposite side, going down, or you got to wait for that position of some momentum to come, or it's not going to come at all. Okay. Um, so kind of understand that. What I mean by that basically is that you shouldn't be anticipating all these stocks to run, especially even the low floats as well too, to be running crazy. It's just not going to happen. Okay, you'll see when the market starts to correct itself that they come right back to fruition. So at this point in time, in this part of the market cycle, you really want to be planning your trades properly and managing your risk properly. It's much easier to manage your risk starting out when the market's all green because you got the odds in your favor at this point. But now is where you got to really do your due diligence, really do your planning, and really stick to your trades and your stop losses and profit takes. Today, I only got about 5% collectively from two trades, both green, but this stuff was all planned out from start to finish for me, doing the watch list, all the way to executing the trades. Okay. Yeah, I left some money on the table, but I don't care. It's perfectly fine. Um, I'm green for the day. So let's kind of start with this trade. Now, SoFi, as you guys seen, was on my watch list, and it was on there, of course, because I seen the article about CNBC talking about them passing regulatory hurdles, but we've also been watching a trend for the last few days in the group. Okay, it's been alerted a few times. So when I was doing the research and things like that last night, kind of looking at that news, CNBC is a pretty big news network. You might have heard of them if you've been in the market here and there. Um, and obviously that article is going to circulate to a lot of you know traders, investors, and things like that. So like I said here, good news. Um, Ended at 429, and then of course we had CSPR on the watch list as well too. That one's doing pretty good right now as well too. But understand, guys, the purpose of the watch list doesn't mean get into the trade. Doesn't mean you know get in at this price point. It's just telling you, hey, these are your ideas coming into the morning of what you probably want to look at as far as stocks that may potentially, run based on a variety of different things. That's just my personal watch list. Obviously the admins have their own and, they look at different things. But I give you guys mine as well too to kind of give you some insight of what I look at and what potentially other traders look at. Okay. So that's first and foremost. Doesn't mean get in the trade, doesn't mean sit out the trade. Doesn't mean follow the trade. It's just telling you what I'm going to be looking for. If I don't see it in the market, fine. I move on to what plays are happening in the market. So, it's a combination of things that you want to look for and understand. Now, for the most part, you guys know I like to play low float stocks and, small caps and things like that. The reason why SoFi was on the list, it's a pretty good price range for me. It's a pretty popular company. I know about them. Um, and the market cap on that one was pretty high for me. I try to stick to low market caps, um, but it's okay. And I knew with that, knowing that you gotta really wait for the stock to play out. You can't rush these type of trades with these type of stocks like you do the small caps. So, as you can see here on the, you know, statistics here, market cap there's 13 billion. Okay, the volume is only 170 million. That's as of right now. The free float almost 600 million. Okay, so this one, because it's such a bigger cap, guys, you should be able to understand that it's going to be a slow grinder. Unless a lot of volume comes in, it's going to be a slow grinder, which means your trade is going to take a little bit longer to play out. Okay, excuse me. So that's one thing that I understood and why I was more patient with this one. You guys seen I said in chat, like, I'm debating if I'm gonna be patient with this you know, or just go ahead and take my money and run. Because I have such slow patience, it's kind of hard for me to stick to trades like that. But good thing I did. So that's just one thing, this is why the statistics are important of knowing market cap and size of the trade that you want to take. So that was already part of my plan with SoFi. I knew that if I got into it around $14 or so, excuse me, that it's not going to be like a four, five, $6 mover. I mean, it could, but the odds are against me that it will be, especially because the news isn't that great. It's a well-known stock, but again, it also takes a lot to move it. Okay, so that's just kind of the thought process behind completing that initial trade itself with SoFi. Wasn't thinking the same with CSPR, the stats on that, but we're here to talk about the trades I did SoFi. Okay, so just kind of knowing that in the beginning of the morning, I'm already watching this stock on my stock on the watch list. Now, during pre-market, let's take a look at what it did. Of course, this is the middle of the day. We don't need to look at it right now. Excuse me, still coming over this cold. Um, so look, pre-market guys, it did virtually nothing. There was no movement, there was no volume, nothing. In fact, the entire pre-market was kind of slow this morning. Nothing was up more than like what 25, 30%. 8 p.m. was okay, but that's about it. But anyways, this thing grinding out a pre-market. So I know the volume's not there. I'm not wasting my time, but it's still on my watch list. I'm going to watch it during the open because of it being a larger cap stock. What does that mean? That means that there's also AI trading it. They're, more likely hedge funds and, larger institutions trading it, which means there's also a lot of, it could be potentially a lot of shorts in there as well too. It's just more things to consider because it's a larger cap stock, which means that there's more players in it. But if the volume isn't there, it's not going to move. Okay. So I know that for a fact. So what am I going to do here? Obviously, if it's not moving in pre-market, I'm going to still keep it on my radar. Got it on the, screens just to watch and see some potential movement. And then, you know, keep my plan accordingly. So my plan was initially, if it comes out in the pre-market, now what this was good here. So what kind of alerted me to this some more was the fact of what it was doing right before the opening bell. The little 5 minute to 10, I say the 15 minutes before the opening bell, guys, is a good indication of a stock, you know, potentially making more moves than other stocks, especially like the closer it gets towards the bell. So 15-minute mark, 10-minute mark, 5-minute mark. Right a few minutes before this thing opened up, we had a lot of price range activity happening with it, um, which kind of caught my eye. So I was like, okay, pay attention to that one. And what was the other one we were looking at? Um, APM, I think, just because of the fact that it was like the percentage gainer volume leader, and I knew that a lot of traders are going to be wanting to gap play this stock. So I'm watching those two, right? So the opening bell hits, This thing pulls back immediately, but pretty much every stock started dumping. I mean, the market itself pulled back a little bit. Um, I'm sorry, just reading some stuff. Uh, the market it pulled back a little bit, and then it began to spike up. Now, what made me want to get in this stock here? So I got in this thing at like 1460, like right here. Why did I do that? Because I had a great candlestick here telling me, hey, buyers are coming in. Right after, you had two drops and an expected pullback. Oh, it's turning. So I see the squeeze pro indicator telling me it's about to squeeze. The relative strength index is telling me that it's getting a little bit stronger, about to be, you know, overbought. And then I got these candles here telling me, hey, buying pressure's coming in. So that's good. You got this one coming in saying, pressure's still right there. So I got filled at 1460. My thought process was give it about $1 range. If it hits $13, get out, because that means it's pulling back and just wait for another reentry. All right. But good thing I stuck to the plan because it never reached down there. It pretty much held at 14. I would have started getting worried at 14. Half and whole dollar marks are very, important to traders for some reason, but otherwise a lot of buying power there. But anyways, so it'd be going to pull back a little bit. I'm not worried about this at this point because usually when you get in the stock, it's going to pull back. So I'm in it, 1460. It's coming down to 1440. That's fine. But we're still green. Everything is still green here. That telling me is that it's establishing just some more support on the buy side here for the buyers. And then it's just slowly grinding, slowly grinding, slowly grinding. Excuse me. And, usually with higher volume or higher market cap stocks, it's going to take a little bit longer for the moving averages to change over. If you don't know that, you'll learn that through experience. But anyways, so I'm in there at 1460, and this thing just keeps grinding up, grinding up, grinding up, begins to show a little bit of support. And of course, I take my profits. Okay. So first trade in it was about $220 I gained right there, just off of 3% alone. Now, what made me decided to get into it again was the fact that when it did pull back a little bit on the moving averages and it started to come down, off the squeeze pro, the level of pullback wasn't that much. Now, it could be a few things. For one, obviously, of course, it's just the supply and demand period. But also, two, it's not having as much of a drastic pullback dollar-wise because of the fact that it's such a larger market cap. Now, don't get me wrong, these stocks can drop down higher than that, but knowing that it takes a lot more movement to push it down and also to push it up, seeing that movement going down not be that much made me decide, okay, this might be worth getting into again. Okay. And so as it began to pull back and curl back up, I get filled at 1525. Now, you guys are probably thinking, why would you do that? Look at this. Let me show you this here. Sorry, trading view lags a little bit. Now at 1525, guys, understand, because a lot of you, the way you probably trade or whatever, you forget that you can also trade and have a plan to buy high and sell higher. Everyone thinks that, oh, you just got to buy low, sell high, or buy high, sell low if you're shorting. No, you can also buy high, sell higher if you are anticipating the stock price to go a little bit higher. So that's pretty much what this second trade was, me buying high and anticipating it to break out higher. So obviously, if I brought it in and got filled at 1525, I'm in it at this area, the peak of where the stock is trading at this point. Okay. Now I got myself mentally a nice tight stop loss here at the 1490 range, but I'm going to take that chance and, go ahead and let the stock initially play out. I'm not doing no like major quick maths or nothing like that to figure out my levels of risk to reward. Ideally, as a trader, when you develop, you know, your your sense of risk to reward, you'll be able to start to automatically see what levels, you know, like that, what you're willing to risk to try to gain. And of course, like I said, I'm not being greedy here because the way the market is, the way the stock is, I'm going to take a little bit of percentage, but I'm going to go in a little bit, I'm going to go in a little heavy. Okay. So that means that drastic movements in the price can definitely affect your emotions and your psychology behind it. But if I know that it's a larger cap stock and it takes more to move, I'm not going to be as scared because of the fact that it takes a lot to move the stock. Okay. But you should always know that that potential for it to move in the price like that is still there, especially when you're going against larger cap stocks because you have to trade against hedge funds who can hold higher positions. You got to trade against computers and all that other stuff. But that's just, something to consider. But I won't take that risk because why? We got good news on our side. We got good momentum on our side. It's showing, you know, good patterns. It's bullish territory. I mean, all the odds are in my favor for it to keep going the way that it's going, for me to take a profit. And that's exactly what happened. Okay. Oops, sorry, I don't know how the heck this pulled up. All right. So, anyways, yeah. So pretty much got filled at 525, and this thing just ran up some more. And I just grabbed like 2% gain more. I didn't want to get too greedy, and I knew the pullback was coming. So yeah, so that was pretty much it. Cashed out right before like the $16 level, and this thing just kind of ran a little bit more past 16. It may start to pull back now at this point. I it's struggling at the $16.50 range, half and whole dollar marks, and you can kind of see where a lot of buying and selling is taking place there. But we'll see. I mean, it's still the middle of the day. It might have a late, pop into the power hour. You never know. But that's why you manage your risk. So that's pretty much how this trade played out. You kind of see the thought process behind that, guys. I hope you do. Basically, I did my research on the watch list. Decided, hey, that this is a stock I want to look at just because of the way it ended, the good news that happened with it. I'm going to keep it on my radar. Once it was on my radar, I wake up, a few minutes before the bell, hop on, look at the market, analyze what's going on in the market, um, then make my plan accordingly, and watch the stock to see if it can play out, and just execute the trade. That's pretty much what you're doing every single day, and it only takes an hour or two, and it takes like a few minutes to make the money. So now, you know, what up, 400, $500 today, off of that alone. And that's pretty much it. So, hopefully just this thought process behind it works, guys. And then, when you're planning your trade, you want to plan your trade around your strategy of what could happen and what you want to happen. And of course, you use your indicators, things like that to help you visually see what's going on. I mean, if you kind of take a look here, at the level two, you got some good indications for if you ever do need to make adjustments in the market. You have that there, but that's just kind of what you're doing. I mean, that's your job as a trader, as a day trader. Um, so takes practice. It takes practice. It takes experience. But again, that's what the watches is for. That's what the alerts are for you to be able to find this stuff throughout the day. You don't have to spend your time searching the market, guessing which ones are going to be what. But now you know what to look for, or you know what I look for. But you can develop your own system on how you look for things. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. Very, very important that you stick to your plan. I wish I would have stayed in a little bit longer, but I didn't. But it's okay. Um, it's perfectly fine. I'm gonna watch it again tomorrow as well too, because now you might have the ability to play it on the downside, especially with it being a large cap stock. It may, you know, have more shorts available for you to be able to, short the stock if you wish, um, or puts if you're an option trader, and make money on the downside too. There's all types of ways to make money in the market, guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully, this little review of SoFi helped. Um, $500 in a matter of minutes. I can't complain. Uh, Great day today. So, if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments. Let me know. Message me, email me, whatever you need. I'll be here. But other than that, you guys stay green. And tomorrow's Friday. Hopefully, we have another good day. I've seen in the chat room, I mean, roughly about 85% of you guys definitely traded this one and did good. So that's good. Let's keep it going. All right. Stay green.